Radha Madhava, Jai Radha Madhava. Shri Prabhupada. Jai. Thank you very much. So we're reading. Thank you very much. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam today, as every morning, what is very beautiful. And today, as always, we are reading from the Transcendental Diary before the lecture. We are reading from the Transcendental Diary. Travels. A Transcendental Diary travels with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It should be called not a Transcendental Diary, maybe the Transcendental Diary, because it is the only one diary, such a diary, but okay, I'm sorry. Yes, August from 1976 till October 1976, and written or denoted because it's not such a literary work by Hari Sauridasa, the private personal servant of Srila Prabhupada, one of his personal servants. Yes. So, Srila Prabhupada in Sri Vrindavana Dhama, and that is September, but what September? What September it is? September 16th. So this part begins with September 16th, 1976. I go back a bit because it's not clear when we're reading from the middle. It's not clear what it is about. Gaur Govinda Maharaj sent another letter expressing some frustration about the current state of affairs in India. The opinion it's okay. See, it's okay. It's okay. Nice. The opinion you have given in your last letter is true to the letter. In India, the spirit is lacking. Yes, it is a very naked truth. I have the same experience, but I wonder and sometimes feel myself very much aggrieved at this sort of attitude of the Indian people, from whom we expect something more. Guruji Maharaja, what is the background behind it? Why is this sort of slackness seen among the Indians, and what is its remedy? Kindly instruct me what I shall do, and I must do accordingly. He said that it is his desire to remain absorbed in translating Srila Prabhupada's books into Oriya. He has finished translating Krishna Volume 1 and has almost completed Volume 2. He is also translating Bhagavad Gita as it is, and Garga Muni Maharaj is now putting into print his translation of Krishna consciousness, the top yoga system, which Srila Prabhupada reviewed in Hyderabad. But he lamented that his attention is being divided by many other works. Two Western devotees, Pundarika Vidyanithi Dasa and Devathama Dasa, are helping with book distribution and preaching. The three of them have held programs in some neighboring towns and they received many invitations. He ended his letter asking when Srila Prabhupada was scheduled to come to Mayapur so that he can meet with him and discuss the building of a temple in Bhubaneswar. In his reply to Maharaja, Prabhupada reiterated the same view of recent Indian history that he had discussed with Hansadutta Swami before breakfast. In answer to your question as to why the Indian population is so slack in spiritual life, that is the answer. During the British rule, there was a secret policy by the British to cut down the Vedic civilization in India. There was a confidential policy by the Vedic civilization in India. There was a confidential policy by the British government to kill India's original culture, and everything Indian was condemned. From the very beginning, they took this position. In our childhood and boyhood, we had to read some book by a Mr. Gosse called England's Work in India. The purport was that we are uncivilized and the British had come to make us civilized. Later on, the policy became successful because in our childhood days, any anglicized gentleman was considered to be advanced in civilization. In Calcutta, the Chowringhee quarters were known as the English quarters, and the neighborhood places were maintained very nicely. The India quarters were known as native quarters. Therefore, even in our own city, there was such a division as English quarters and native quarters. Anyway, this policy became successful when our leaders took them as fact. Mahatma Gandhi wanted to refute this wide, prestigious position, but he also failed because he did not understand the spiritual culture of God consciousness. During the Muslim time, although sometimes fanatically, there were some cases of breaking the temple, but there was no such policy to kill the Indian culture. On account of this, during the Muslim period, even during the time of Aurangzeb, there were Indian princes and political leaders like Shivaji and Jaya Singh. He concluded, so it is a long process now how Indians, especially educated Indians, have become victimized by the slow deteriorating position of Indian culture. But there is no use tracing out the history, but generally we have lost our own culture and our leaders are not very serious to revive our own culture to the point. But still, the mass of people, not being very much advanced in education, stick to the Indian culture. For example, lakhs of people still visit Jagannath Puri during the Rath Yatra festival, lakhs still visit the Kumbh Mela, and lakhs still visit the holy places of India, but there is no encouragement by the leaders. It is only a continuation of the original culture. So there is no hopelessness. If we revive Krishna consciousness in a systematic way, within a very short time, we can revive our original Indian culture on the basis of the teachings of Lord Krishna and the Bhagavad Gita. So we have to work very hard for this purpose. And if you follow the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it will be very easily done. what can I say? It's so heavy to read. The white quotas for the British and the native quotas for the Indian people. Maybe you want to say something because it's so clear, it's so actual for nowadays. Unfortunately, it will be actual for the next days, I think, too, for next time, unfortunately. And what for me was very important here, the Srila Prabhupada said, the Krishna consciousness. So, Krishna consciousness will revive the Indian native culture. That's why he wanted that East meets West, that we preach in the West, that we preach in Germany, where also the conditions, I don't want to criticize, the conditions for the foreigners are not so mentally, financially maybe very nice, but mentally not so welcome, not so nice. There is a distinguishing between the native people who are living in Germany and the foreigners who have come to stay here. So that is, we know that is designations, not to comment, not to give lecture now. But if you want to say something, what was very important for you from this piece I have read, or your impressions, or your experiences, or something what was important for your heart, your feelings. So you're welcome. You want to say something? English difficult. I can translate. So I want to underline this. Srila Prabhupada had no compromises. Uncompromised person he was. So he doesn't have this moment. So here we should wait, and then we preach, or something like this. We wait here, and then we go there. He is very direct. Yes. The question is not about if we shall do it or we shall not do it. We shall preaching, but we should understand only how and where. Yes, so there was no question about to preach or not to preach for sure. Thank you very much. Someone else? No? Okay. Thank you very much. So that's what this, when we are reading this diary, we can understand in how difficult were the conditions where Prabhupada was developing Krishna consciousness. In what conditions? Yes, we know that it's not only there, now also our preachers, our Maharajas, are working in difficult conditions with many much resistance from outside. For example, we know Kanna Maharaj, he was shot 2 times or 3 times. Yes, because there was a resistance. Not only the Western people, the Indian also don't want to be developed in Krishna consciousness. But as my Guru Maharaj is saying very often, so right again, we should go on. So now we are going to Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we are reading from the seventh canto, part 2 and text 28. 7 to 28. Usinareshwar Putraja Suyachna iti Vishrudaham Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhem Jnanatyasthanupasata Usinareshwar Putraja Suyachna iti Vishrudaham Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhem Jnanatyasthanupasata Usinareshwar Pudraja Suyachna iti Vishrutaha Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhe Shnanataya Stamupasata Usinareshwar Pudraja Suyachna iti Vishrutaha Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhe Jnataya Stamupasata Usinareshwar Pudraja Suyachna iti Vishrutaha Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhe Yataya Stamupasata Usinareshwar Pudraja Suyachna iti Vishrutaha Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhe Jnataya Stamupasata. Someone else. Not the ladies, the one lady. So Sinareshwara Pudraja Yajna iti Vishrutaha Sapatnaya Nihato Yudhe Jnataya Stamupasata. Thank you very much. So now we're reading the wordly translation made by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Usinareshu, in the state known as Ushinara. Abhod, there was Raja, a king, Suyajna, Iti, thus, Vishnutaha, celebrated, Sapatnaim, by enemies, Nihataha, killed, Yudhe, in war, Jnatayaha, the kingsman, Tam, him, Upasata, set around. Translation. In the state known as Ushinara, there was a celebrated king named Suyajna. When the king was killed in battle by his enemies, his kingsmen sat down around the dead body and began to lament the death of their friend. So there is no comment, that's why we're reading the next text. Vishuddharatma kavacham vibhastha Sharani Pina Hridayam Shayanam Asridavilam Prakirnakeshanthastaksham Rabhasadasa Dachhadam Rajahuthamukham Bhojam Chinnayutha Bhojam Ridhim Usinaretram Vidhinatatha Usinaretharam Vidhinatatha Kritam Patim Mahishya Prasamikshya Dukhitaha Hatasmanadhyati Karair Urubrisham Gnatyo Mohostat Padayorupapatam. So, the translation. His golden, bejeweled armor smashed, his ornaments and garlands fallen from their places, his hair scattered, and his eyes lusterless. The slain king lay on the battlefield, his entire body smeared with blood, his heart pierced by the arrows of the enemy. When he died, he had wanted to show his prowess, and thus he had bitten his lips, and his teeth remained in that position. His beautiful lotus-like face was now black and covered with dust from the battlefield. His arms, with his sword and other weapons, were cut and broken. When the queens of the king of Ushinara saw their husband lying in that position, they began crying, "O Lord, now that you have been killed, we also have been killed." Repeating these words again and again, they fell down, pounding their breasts at the feet of the dead king. Here we have a purport made by His Divine Grace Sister Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As stated here, Rabhasadasadachvadam, the dead king, while fighting in anger, bit his lips to show his prowess, but nonetheless he was killed by providence, Vidhina. This proves that we are controlled by higher authorities. Our personal power or endeavor is not always supreme. We must therefore accept the position offered to us by the order of the Supreme. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanajana Shavakayam Chakshuramitam Gyana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gam Karoti Vachalam Tam Gom Bhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaritaya Srimata Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamaya Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Shashashunyavari Pachitya Yashatar Vishnu. So with your mercy I will try to what to say, because it's already commented, it's already purported the text by Srila Prabhupada, but because we should give lectures, and I listened yesterday to some lectures and read something, that's why I will try to do my best with your mercy. So this, it's very clear. It comes evident from the text that this topic is about for us to understand the difference, or to state for us, to admit for us, to accept the a difference between body and soul. So this topic is coming through all the scriptures we are learning in our movement, founded by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada, in the movement of um, establishing Krishna consciousness for ourselves and for the humanity at large. And that is the principal questions for us to understand. What are the functions of the body and how it is subdued to the consciousness? How to be a good instrument in Krishna's hands, in the hands of our spiritual masters, in the hands of spiritual devotees, in the hands of scriptures. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is the description or descriptions of Krishna's life. And that is all real. That is not the stories, that is not the Märchen we were reading when we were children, in our childhood. Yes, that is the real descriptions coming out of the real activities of Krishna, real pastimes of Krishna, real form of Krishna, his real relationships with his energies. Certainly, yesterday when I read this text, I immediately was thinking about Arjuna on the battlefield, about his lamenting, about his heart that has got to be weak, the weak heart. Yes. We can't say that heart as a muscle is weak or strong. We can't say the heart just an apple. Apple can be weaker, so can be, how to say, softer and can be harder, yes. But our heart as a muscle, as a pump that passing the blood through it, can be strong, can be soft, yes. But in our preaching, in our doing the devotional service, we can be weaker or we can be stronger. It depends on our character, how we develop our character. Srila Prabhupada said first achar, our character, and then prachar, and then preaching. Yes, so all he has said, it's very important and absolutely actual and true. Arjuna was lamenting because Krishna put him on the level of body for us to show how dangerous it is to lament. How many emotions we have when we are on the bodily level. We can bite our lips, our eyes, Hiranyakashipu's eyes in previous text. They have got to be red, yes. And in anger, he was so angry, he was so dangerous. His feelings were just on the, how to say, on his utmost, and he was absolutely out of his control. But because he was a good politician, as it's written here, he came to his feelings, and because his relatives were also excited, he tried to pacify them, and he is speaking with them. He is telling them about the function of the body, function of the soul, and how to control our senses. He's speaking to his mother. He is addressing her as my dear mother. Diti, we know he's born from Kashyapa Muni and Diti. and his sister-in-law and his brothers. And he's telling them this story about this king, just like an example to understand the difference between the function of the body and the function of our soul. That means that this philosophy of um, Krishna consciousness, that is the spiritual science, that is the science of self-realization. It is not new, it is not only what we are learning now. It has been existing for millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years, and will be existing for millions and millions and millions of years. Why? Because the soul is eternal. That is for us in this material world to understand it, to understand our relationships with. I see in the street recently when distributing books, I say often now, and it works. These are the books about the soul and body communication. Yoga. Yes. They certainly, the people don't know what it is, the way of self-realization, how we are learning it. Yes. But they see that it's something about soul and body, and even that they believe that they have a soul, it's already good. Because sometimes they say in the street, oh no, I don't have any soul. Yes. So we are devotees, and Krishna likes his devotees very much, and Krishna gives his devotees who are serving him 24 hours a day. To these devotees, Krishna gives his mercy to understand how to come to him. So he gives us, or the devotees who are serving him very nicely, the mercy to understand him, to understand his relationships with us. And these are not the relationships on the level of body. They are not bodily relationships, because Krishna, he doesn't touch the material world. Yes? And material world is created. He is created by Brahma because Krishna, Vishnu, gave him this order to create the material world, and how to do it. He imparted this knowledge in Brahma's heart. Yes, and then he began to follow this instruction, yes, like a very good devotee, and he created this material world. Yes, that means body is not eternal, but the spiritual world has never been created. Spiritual world exists eternally, and that means the soul is eternal. If we understand this difference, yes, we can see how happy we are that we have this possibility to get rid of all these unnecessary emotions. This king is very emotional, yes. His wives are so emotional. We know the story about Jamila. He also was very much emotional, yes. We know the story about Chitraketu, how many emotions were spent for having his son, for trying to have it with 100 wives, and then at last one wife, he gave him a son, and what had happened, we know what had happened with his son, and how emotional and how angry were his wives that they had poisoned his son. And the son has come again, and the son said, oh, I don't know you. I have already had so many times for you. And then King Chitraketu, he has left his emotions. He understood that all these emotions are false. that all these emotions are coming from our four defects. Very simple. Senses are not perfect. We are doing mistakes. We're inclined to the illusions. We're cheaters, yes. So these senses, if they are not controlled, they are cheating us all the time. Because what are these conditioned senses? Coming from the conditioned, not purified soul. They are designations. They all are designations. Sarvopadi Vimirmuktam Taparatvedha Nirmalam. Krishikisha Krishikina Sevanam. Bhaktir Uchyate. So we have a person who is the master of the senses, and he is controlling our senses, and we give these senses to him. We know that he is responsible for our senses, not we. He is controlling the senses, and we accept this position that we are not the doers, we are not controlling our senses, and then our reactions, our actions, what we're doing, they're getting with the time more and more purified. We are not so much materially emotional. We don't need so many emotions. If someone has told us something very unpleasant for us, okay, maybe this person has a reason. Maybe he feels not so good. Maybe I can't see my mistakes, but he or she can. I accept it. I control myself. I don't react negatively on his words or on something he or she has done. I mean, the relationships between devotees and our devotional practice. Yes, so that means we give our reactions, our senses to Krishna, for what? To serve. Sevanam Bhakti. To serve Bhakti. We are serving Bhakti. Bhakti is our Devi. Bhakti is our um, Bhakti is our feelings, our kind feelings. Anukulyena Krishna no Sevanam Bhakti Uttama. This with kindness. We are serving not because we should, I must. No, we are serving with kindness. And these kind feelings, they will never have any negative reaction. Doesn't matter what happens. Because they are controlled by the master of the senses. And that is a control, that is a ability to distinguish between body and soul. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we know also, he was beating his guest morning with the shoes and evening with the bride, or maybe bride morning shoes, evening. Yes, he was controlling. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, such a great devotee, he was controlling also his senses. So that is all about the science. That is all the science of self-realization. To control our self, to control our actions and reactions. And how we can control our actions and reactions. Everything is written in Bhagavad Gita, text 1865. Matmana Bhava Mat Bhakto. Mam Yaji Mam Namaskuru. Mameva Shyasi Satyam Te Pratijana Priyote Me. We have so many moms, me, mat, in this text. So that is ma, that is Krishna. Yes? And he says we should worship him. We should become his devotees. We should pay him our obeisances. And he promises that then we are doing these things, we are doing this, we're following these instructions, we can come to him. If Krishna promises, it's for sure. It is real. But we don't want. We want to control, more or less. With the time, we want to control less and less and less and less because we understand we can't control. We are not the doer. The doers. So about providence. Providence, Vidhina. It is also clear that there is we are controlled by the higher authorities. That our personal power or endeavor is not always supreme. We are not supreme. Because our role is to be jivas. And jiva is Jivera Svarupahaya Krishna Nityadas, eternal servant of Krishna. That is who jiva is. And if we understand it, we can feel very happy that we have the possibility to serve Krishna as jivas. Yes, to serve him, to give him our feelings, to give him our willings, to give him our thinkings, to give him everything we are able to give him. And providence, yeah, the example, for example, Newton, you know, Newton, the great scientist, he was sitting, as the story says, he was sitting under the apple tree and the apple fell onto his head. Oh, why? The apple has fallen onto my head. What is it? I didn't ask you, please come and fall onto my head. Yes? No. Who has thrown this apple onto my head? Why it has fallen onto my head and then on the ground? Yes. And that's why he has opened this theory of gravity. Yes. But it was also by the force of providence. He didn't ask, oh, please, apple, come and let me know what is gravity. Let me be the famous scientist, the mostly famous scientist in the world. The same is about Einstein. The same is about all the scientists. And the same is about the scientists in this modern time, but they don't understand it. They think they are scientists by themselves. It could be very, very, or it is maybe sometimes very useful when the scientists should be preached by Krishna consciousness preachers. Because then, if they have brains, they have talents, they have got it by providence, all these talents, they can really do different, very useful for the mankind discoveries. But if they could understand that that is not their power, they could really open all their potential, scientific potential, and serve the people. Just a very small thing. But they don't want. They want to be famous themselves. That is my discovery. My discovery is better than yours. So, very simple thing. That's why Phil Prabhupada wanted us to preach. So everybody has his abilities to preach. I am trying to do something in the street. The people who are more advanced, more educated, they can preach to the scientists at the universities, at schools, different things at the different organizations, yes, to receive prasad as well too. Yeah, so that is our preaching movement. And we know this. We are being purified to be forceful, purity, the force. What for? Preaching in the essence, to preach them. We are getting this purification not for not for ourselves, not for our enjoyment, because spirituality is very attractive. It is very sweet, and many devotees, I don't want to criticize, I say only they are getting some portion of the sweetness, of the syrup, of this, how to say, how to call it. I have forgotten how to call the sweet, the children like very much to lick it, how it is. Doesn't matter, okay. Ah? Bonbons. Bonbons, okay, let it be bonbons, yes. And it's okay. It's enough? Yes. Yes, they somehow it is not going on. Yes, but we have got it. We don't need to have a quota of the golden, um, how to say, coin, or 2 quarters of the golden coin, also not enough for us. And even the half of the golden coin is not enough for us. We want to have the whole golden coin, the whole golden coin of bhakti, of pure devotional service. Yes, to give us, to devote us fully to Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, because from them we get the instructions what to do, how to preach, what to preach, where to preach, how to cook, what to cook, where to cook, how to distribute prasadam, where to distribute prasadam, how to distribute prasadam, and dance, and how to dance, and how to play the music instruments, everything. And if we are ready to accept it, if you want to preach really, we should follow these instructions. Our Guru Bhaktivinoda Maharaj, in his lectures also, he was saying very often, you think you give everything. Yes, I have given already. But look behind. Maybe there is something behind your back. Maybe something is left. Maybe you haven't given everything. Yes, and try to take it out. Um, try not to have anything that really is disturbing. What we have on a bodily plane, what is not given to the devotional service is always disturbing. I'm speaking about myself. I have many problems, yes, I'm not liberties, yes, and they disturb me very, very much. But I know, that is not my knowledge, but I know, yes, that this knowledge is also imparted into my heart by my spiritual master. That is all in our prayers, in mantras, in books, in his instructions, yes. That is what he has given to me. And I am doing what he wants me to do. And he told me I was doing different services for him. Yes, but he told me you should preach. You should distribute books. And at first it was not. Yes, and I have begun to distribute books. It was not difficult for me, but it was very stupid. Now when looking back, I can remember what I was saying. It was stupid. It was very primitive. It was not correct. It was not good. But the people took the book somehow, nevertheless, and that is the best result. So with the time it's getting more and more because we have different seminars, Sankirtan seminars, and we have books, instructions of Harikesh Maharaj, Vaisheshika Prabhu, and certainly Srila Prabhupada's instructions. Many books, wonderful books. In the books it is written everything. We shouldn't think too much. We do. Yes. We do. So yesterday also when I was preparing the lecture, or honestly to say today morning, I was thinking about envy. Moment, something more. I'm coming back. It's about the scientists again. They are doing so many research. They're researching sleep. They're researching food. They are researching, Freud, sexual sex. They're researching our reactions. So now it is very modern to say ahimsa, very modern. Ahimsa is very nice, but it shouldn't be the part of the fashion of our life. Yes, they're researching so many things. Why people don't sleep? Why people eat such a awful food from Poland, for example. I'm sorry. Or they are aggressive, or they are defending. So it's my thing, my house is better, my family is better. Different things. Why? Because they have no idea of this science, the science of self-realization. They don't know it, and they mostly, unfortunately, don't need it. Some can accept, yes, and that is very important. They shouldn't. We know what is the science with hippies in America. Everybody have come with 40 rupees, and he is dirty, such a strange person for the American people. I've been to America in New York and San Francisco. Yes, nice people. They have open hearts. Yes, it is possible to do many things there, what I can say, yes. And he has come to America following the order of his spiritual instruction and order and desire of his spiritual master. And he began to preach for the people in America the science of self-realization to the hippies. They were ill people, very, how to say, unhappy people. They were living in awful conditions. Many of them were from the intelligent families because they didn't have any contacts in the families. They wanted to leave the family, and better for them was to live on the streets than to live in the family without any understanding between the members of the family. They were inside, deep inside, these people, they were some special, they were free. They had this element of um, freedom, spiritual freedom in their hearts. And Srila Prabhupada was working with them, cooking, singing, just like a father, living in dangerous conditions. We all know this. Certainly, it's nothing new what I'm saying now. But that is the science. The science should be proved. Isn't it proved? Is the science of self-realization um, of this, what Srila Prabhupada has done is not proved? It is proved. There is also the experiments of the scientists. They do something, synthesis, analysis on different things, reactions, and writing very much about their works, so tractates in Russian, I don't know how to say, how to call it in English. Yes, what is the proof? Is it better in the world? The food is better? Wow. Wow. Yes. The sexual, how to say, relationships is getting more and more dirty. Is it better? No. The people are aggressive. Is it better? Violent? No, it is not better. It is worse and much worse, because when you're traveling with the books, you see. So I'm living here for 31 years in Germany, and I can compare already. It was better. It looked better when I came, but now it's not even. Um, it doesn't look better, and it is not. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse, and the people will be eating each other. It looks like it is possible. It will come, yes, because there is no any science of self, any science of realization, any science of self-reflection and control and everything what we have to know from our books. Yes, that is not the science. It doesn't make us better, it doesn't make the world better. Just on the contrary. We have our science. We have our science and we have our realizations. Yes. And let us be in this self-realization. Let us not to leave it. Let us not to be, how to say, over-satiated with the sweetness of the spiritual life we have. Yeah, to sit somewhere in the cozy zone. Yes, it is warm, it is fine, Haribo, beautiful sight, and different things. Yes, certainly we can't stop, we can't, but we ourselves, me for example, is trying. If you're trying, nice. If we are trying, Rule is doing so much service in the temple. Every morning he's coming at 2 o'clock chanting. Ekayani Mataji, 24 hours. For example, yesterday I was very much surprised. The day before yesterday, she was doing much service. In the evening, she was putting deities to bed. And morning she was on the altar. Yes. We have examples. That is how it is happening. Yes, it is simple. Srila said it is not difficult. Yes, it is difficult to get rid of our anarthas, but it is simple if we understand that we are the instruments in the hands of Lord Chaitanya. It is so beautiful to be an instrument or a soldier in Lord Chaitanya's army, not a general, but a simple soldier, a very, very tiny, small servant of Lord Chaitanya. I have distributed, Rui has distributed one book last time on Friday. He was happy. Small book for €4. Good business, a very good business. Small, Jenseits, for €4. Three books, 4 books. Yes, BBT, or maybe 4.5, about 5 books, you see. Beautiful, and he was happy because he knows for whom. Not for himself, not for his result, not to show his scores. Yes, Lord Chaitanya. Yeah, I have prepared many texts. I didn't give any text of what I have prepared. Very clever text, yes, no. Yes, but Sarvadharma Parithyajam Mekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham Aham Krishna. Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayashyami Ma Suchaha. So surrender, simply surrender. And also I was very much impressed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's sentence he gives in his Shower of Nectar. I'm repeating it because it is written here, only non-human can refuse to serve the God. Only non-human can refuse to serve the God. Non-human. Только не человек может отказаться служить Богу. Yes. It is human to serve. Our service is the science of self-realization. Practical side we have, not theoretical, it is also, books are also practical. We have everything. Just like in the dance. Gopi are dancing with Krishna, yes. They have everything. They don't need anything. They want to have only Krishna. And when he leaves this dancing, because they have become to be a bit more proud, he left. Not because of it, but because of this, maybe. Yes, yes. They have only Krishna. They are dancing and dancing and dancing and dancing and see only Krishna. And they think Krishna is dancing only with me. And he is really dancing only with you. And only with me. And only with you. And with you he is dancing. Yes. So that's what I wanted to say. So many emotions to bite the leaves, you know, to have red eyes, or to shout, or to do many things. So use your awe and red lips and your red eyes and white lips when devotee is offended. Where is my Kalashnikov? Use it. Yes. Yes. That's all I can say today. Yes. And that is not about the body. All these eyes, all these lips, that's all about the body. And we are devotees. We should be devotees of Krishna. And we should use our beautiful emotions, really beautiful emotions to have red eyes and to take Kalashnikov when someone is offending our guru. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful. Yes, to cook with love. Because, for example, this Mataji, she doesn't like very salted prasadam. So I put less salt or do something separate only for her. Many gallants with so much love, outfits with so love, so many emotions. We have beautiful emotions. Let's use these emotions and preach and distribute books. Emotions or diplomacy. We should be very diplomatic in the street. We should see what the people want to listen. Wow, you have such wonderful nails. Blue nails, how did you do it? You, oh yes, I'm beautiful. Yes, you are. Take the book. Because the beauty is in the science of self-realization. This is a book which is called The Science of Self-Realization. This beauty doesn't need any blue nails, doesn't need any makeup. Okay, so we are beautiful. I see devotees are very beautiful. And I'm very thankful that I can see their beauty. Not always, I'm not so good as I'm speaking now. No, not. But I'm trying to differentiate, not me. My guru is trying to help me to differentiate all these things and to be beautiful. So that's all. If you want to say something, we have some minutes left to comment or impressions, to express yourselves. You're welcome. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Nice to be in the movement of Lord Chaitanya. Krishna came and he finished his pastime 5,000 years ago. Lord Chaitanya came, but he didn't finish his pastime. And what we are doing is going to be pastime. Take part in the pastime of Lord.
Thank you very much. It is really beautiful comment to be a part of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Not the pastimes, I'm sorry, of Angela Merkel, I respect him, but to be a part of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Krishna himself. Thank you very much. Something I translate. So Jabadaka Maharaj said, please send me in your letters the continuation of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So when you're preaching how Mahaprabhu is revealed in your preaching, Jabadaka Maharaj wanted and wants to have the letters from his disciples on this topic. The science of self-realization.
So every soul, when we meet her on the street, and when they give books, it's like a destiny. And when we distribute books, we see like they change their destiny. Because maybe you have some story of how you see in a moment how people transformate, because it's always something unusual. You meet some people and they take your books, and sometimes it's some stories. Maybe you have some stories.
I have very many stories, yes, I'm trying now to. The story, yes, at the beginning, I know have many stories, more emotional, less emotional, but this story is simply funny. Funny story. When I began to distribute books, not knowing anything, now also not much, but a bit more. Yes, I was standing with the books in the middle of our Schildergasse, that is our shopping street here in Cologne. and I was trying to distribute, and I saw a girl, I think it was a girl, or something between maybe. She was coming to me, and she was looking like a prostitute. Long legs, almost no skirt, something, I don't know how to call it this, something wild on her head, and makeup, no face, only makeup, just like a mask. Yes, and her way of going was also not, how to say, uh, not so nice for me, yes. But she was going, and I thought, no, I will not come to her. I will not offer her, no. But somehow we met, and I show her Bhagavad Gita, and I tell her some words about Bhagavad Gita. She didn't tell me a word, and I don't know her voice. There was no voice at all. She looked at me with her lashes. So something like, I don't know, like a Barbie. She took, without anything to say, Bhagavad Gita, gave 10 euros, and left. And that's all. What she will do with this book, I have no idea. Yes, but she gave 10 euros. I was happy. At the beginning of book distribution, 10 euros for Bhagavad Gita. Now as well, too. I was happy, yes. And sometimes the people are crying, they are telling their stories. And there was one person in Bonn. He was just looking like a crazy. He was shouting, ah, looking at me. I was distributing, ah, looking at me. I was distributing, ah. The people were that he was alone because the people they were afraid of him. Yes, and I was distributing without doing anything. He then he left. The next day I was again in Bonn, and he came again. And he came to me being absolutely normal, not crazy. He told me his life. He took a book and gave donations. I don't know how. I have no idea. That is not Chaitanya, that is his mercy, that is what he is doing, because deep inside he has it. And that his deep inside was somehow awakened. Maybe he saw Bhagavad Gita, maybe that I was not reacting negative on his show. I don't know, yes. Many stories. Yes, the people. Sometimes I met the people in 2 years after 2 years. I don't remember them, but they remember, and they took more books. I remember me. Yes. So it is to be continued, because that is a great secret, a great secret of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, and we should follow his instructions simply, without thinking too much about secrets. Simply do. Simply preach. That's all. Okay, thank you very much for your being so tolerant with me without any, how to say, shlokas. I'm sorry, it's so simple. Yes, and thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.